Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen, and we're here
Hello.
talking gaming news, video games, all kinds of gaming stuff, other nerd stuff too. We'll ramble about things every now and then, but that's the main chunk of what you come to expect at this show. Video games, awesome stuff, lots of consoles, some PC stuff too. We're not going to discriminate. And yeah, this was a pretty big week for gaming in general. What do you think, Owen?
$7.5 billion.
And Star Wars was 4.2 or some change, something like that. I mean, man, that's a lot. For those of you don't know what
Chump
we're talking
change.
about, yeah, I know. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Microsoft purchased Bethesda, and oops, thought that was set up. There we go. I thought that was set up for Owen here, but let me fix that for a second. Anyways, Microsoft purchased Bethesda for an insane amount of money, and I'm going to fix this stuff here in a second while we talk. But Microsoft purchased Bethesda. Bethesda is the game studio and publisher that basically has been governing id and Skyrim, Doom. Oh, so Deathloop is coming out from them as well. There's so many freaking games. This is what do you think this means for the future of games coming out from them?
Means Game Pass got way more valuable. It means that you may not see that many more Bethesda games on PlayStation 5 for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the ones already promised, like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. They said that they will honor those contracts, which tells me that means it was cheaper to honor them than to break them. Day and date Starfield, day and date Elder Scrolls 6, day and date any future Fallout game, day and date whatever next Doom, like all of that will now be coming to Microsoft Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Game Pass. We've been talking about Game Pass. Oops, wrong thing. I'm clicking all kinds of wrong things today. We've been talking about Xbox Game Pass and the value of it, and we'll get into that more as we go along. But Xbox, essentially all first party stuff goes to Game Pass day. The launch day, you will be able to play it. You don't have to wait a couple months. It's not like Redbox or something like that where you have to wait for it. You're going to get the game immediately. That's why Owen and I this week, that's the other part of the news, Owen and I this week both pre-ordered our Xbox Series X. We'll go into the confusion about the names as well. But yeah, we both pre-ordered our consoles. We are set with Game Pass with those. For the most part, plans to not purchase any Xbox games for years, maybe. I mean, if the console exclusives are coming to me on Game Pass, why purchase the game? Unless you want to give to a developer.
Yeah, I mean, that could probably still happen. Right now, my initial intention is to buy 0 games on Xbox. And it's not a slight or anything like that. It's just that I already own like 300 PlayStation games. And so I kind of want to keep my library consolidated. However, since I'm getting the premier console, I did not get a Series S. I did wind up with a Series X. Did not wind up with all access. I wound up with a full price Series X. If
was the only way to get it, though.
If developers don't figure out PS5 in the near future and start giving me games at their highest quality, I might be using that most powerful console ever to play some other stuff. I really don't want to, again, not as a slight, but to keep my library in one place. But I was thinking about that just this morning. I was like, what if people don't figure out PlayStation 5?
Yeah.
Like what if like Valhalla doesn't run well? Like, they said that they could get it to run at 4K 60 on the Series X. I don't understand why it can't run that on PS5. But what if other developers follow suit and they have the same problems and they're not, like, that games just don't look as good on my 55-inch 4K TV? as they do on this, on the Series X on my 55-inch 4K TV. Like, there's a chance that they could win me over. I don't right now see it happening because PS5 still has exclusives, but going into that, you look at dude, Microsoft just became like the Western RPG owner.
Yep.
They just became the first person shooter owner. And PlayStation, God love them, they have like some of the best games in recent, in the last decade, but third person action, 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 third person.
Yep, they're great. They're amazing games. They tell amazing stories. But yeah, you're right. It's all third person action, and Microsoft is going to, and we had to define it as Western RPGs because yes, the JRPGs and stuff are obviously going to mostly be on Sony, but some will come to Xbox.
They're getting Dragon Quest XI S on Game Pass.
Microsoft is straight up positioning themselves to be not only, I mean, we talked about the value of Game Pass before, but now it's like not only are we talking about value, we're talking about a very diverse set of games that you can play on this machine. It's not like well, it's got racing games and sports games. Like, okay, but it has everything. Everything is going to be on this. Except for
$10 a month.
For $10 a month, and we'll talk about some of the differences in the consoles later on in our live stream. If you're listening to this podcast, it will come as actually, no, we're going to keep it in the podcast. If you're watching it on YouTube, there will be a separate video where we'll be talking about Xbox versus PlayStation. Right now, we're just loving everything that it is to be a gamer. We're not fanboys of one or another, though. Historically, we've been much more PlayStation focused, as people who've watched our show before know that. We're a little more, I don't know.
They're winning me over, man.
They've won us over. I mean, the value.
They convinced me to give them $500 this week. So
Yep. And that kind of was slowly happening for me. I think you were ready to give them $300, and that quickly changed to say, both with the backwards compatibility of disc games, because if you have a game on Xbox 360 or Xbox One or OG Xbox, the backwards compatibility to still use that disc on your Xbox, it adds the value. Plus, it's going to look amazing. I can't freaking wait.
They do have a name problem, though.
They do have a name problem. We're just going to keep bouncing around here like this and organically, because Xbox, we've been talking about this for a while. Xbox Series X and Xbox One X sound a lot so similar that it may have contributed to the Xbox One X sales rank going up 747% in a day.
Yeah, and this even happens with me and Patrick. We'll be sending each other a Marco Polo, which is an app that sends videos that we mentioned before, and I'll be like, I'm thinking about the Xbox One X. I mean, Series X. Dang it! Like, it happens so often, and I almost wanted, like, they've been so consumer friendly lately that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that this isn't like dirty. But at the same time, you have to think like somebody recognized that this was going to happen, right? Somebody recognized that, hey, they're going to see Xbox, like the parent is going to go to Walmart. They're going to hear about Series X, and their kid's going to be like, hey, can you go pre-order a Series X from Walmart today? And then the parent's going to go and they're going to be like, why would I pre-order? It's right there on the shelf.
I'll just get you one.
I'll just buy it now and I'll hold on to it until Christmas time because I'm going to be the best parent alive. And not that the One X isn't a fantastic machine, as we've said many times, but it ain't the Series X.
It's not. I love the One X, and I commented on Robert's post about this and a few others. I'm like, okay, I think I know the confusion's happening, but also not a bad buy. If you don't have an Xbox One, and maybe you don't want to rush to get one of the pre-orders, it's a $500 console versus, I think I've seen some of them on there for like $350 for an Xbox One X.
Watch out for it.
Yeah, the Xbox One X is a beast. It's a great console. Current gen, it's the most powerful console, and that's the reason that if it's a multi-platform game, a lot of times I play it over on the Xbox because it looks better. And I may end up doing that on the new Xbox. I may end up doing that with Series X. It's a beast. It's the most powerful out of the two, but at the same time, PlayStation's got amazing exclusives, and the ecosystem that Owen and I have been playing on for so long. It
So
I'm not going to be stuck on my PlayStation this next generation. I think I'm going to be spread out a little bit more evenly.
Because we've talked about it, and I want to go back to the pre-order thing again in a minute, but like we've talked about it, where we're gonna have to be pretty diligent, where it's gonna be like, because I've even done it this week I almost bought more games because the Japan sale went on PSN, and then I was like, dude, you just spent $1,000 in a week on consoles. You blew your whole, like, that was how much I had set aside for PS5 stuff, and I blew that PS5, whole amount on 2 consoles in a week. So I was like, no, but we're going to have to do that consistently now, because it's going to be like, oh, I want to play Plague Tale Innocence. Oh, it's on sale for $15 on PSN. Oh, it's also on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
I don't have to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Owen and I are gonna keep each other in check on that. We'll probably also be tweeting out stuff if we're liking a game that's on Game Pass. Kevin's also been playing a lot of Game Pass, so he'll be chiming in there as well. The value of playing stuff on Game Pass, I thought I had a video up for Game Pass, but either way, the value of getting an Xbox, getting the Game Pass, getting all the games to the Netflix of games, as it were, as close as it can be. It can't be understated.
So the other issue with the pre-orders that I wanted to go back to real quick was just that Xbox talked a little smack, not a lot. They didn't go, they keep it friendly when it comes to Twitter and online, but they made a little comment after how bad the Sony one went. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I had a worse time getting an Xbox than I did with a PS5 because I don't know. It's just because I think it was staggered. Like, everybody was hitting their buttons at different times that we just didn't know. But because Microsoft announced, hey, it's going to start right at 10 a.m. Central Time, everything broke. And like, Best Buy didn't even turn theirs on for at least an hour. Amazon didn't turn theirs on for at least an hour. Walmart broke immediately. The Microsoft website broke immediately. And it's just one of those things where I don't blame Microsoft for this. I just say, like, maybe you shouldn't act like that it's going to be so much better, because unlike, I think, the last console launch, the internet has come a long way in a decade, and the amount of people that know Python and other code probably has come a long way as well. And the bots were in full force, man. I was clicking. I before I messaged Patrick about mine, like I pass the love along once I get my own console. So I always make sure I'm good first, and then as soon as I got mine, I started throwing Patrick links to get him his.
Well, you knew I was already chasing it. You knew I was already doing the same thing you were doing. It's not like neither of us were like sandbagging each other. We both were on a mission, and that was about. I think I sent you a couple messages like, "Oh, GameStop shit" or something like that. Like, but for the most part, like, I knew what you were doing. You know what I was doing. I actually know. I talked to a couple people. I'd be careful about how I say this. I know someone who used a bot to purchase one for himself. He did not use it to buy one and scalp it, but he specifically used one to purchase it for himself, because he's like, I got too much stuff to do to take up that time. And he's like, I'm not going to, he told me, I'm not going to not get it. I'm getting that console. So he wrote a script and he pounded GameStop and Amazon and all these other websites, but he wasn't the only one doing it. It's not like he was the only person who took him down. So many other people were doing that to scalp them, similar to what happened with the new NVIDIA cards. There's NVIDIA, right?
NVIDIA,
yeah. I was second guessing.
The 3080s.
Yeah, similar with that. So there, same thing happened with that with scalpers. So the same thing's happening with the Xbox. I had a much worse time with this than I did PlayStation. And PlayStation, I mean, Sony at least tweeted out like an apology. Xbox was just gloating about, like, man, we broke some numbers today. We're so proud. We're so happy. Like, what about like Walmart's website and Target's website that completely crashed? GameStop's website. Amazon didn't crash, but it had some issues in the cart aspect. By the way, it did immediately pop that into my cart when you sent that to me. So like
Oh yeah,
that's
cool.
sped it up.
That link worked then.
Yeah, that linked worked. And some of the websites were trying to put up additional queuing to stop bots from buying, or hitting it multiple times. But some of those ended up not really actually being queues, like GameStop's wasn't actually putting you in a queue. It was just staggering you to wait. So you didn't have like, oh, you're number 250 in line. You were just going to get in when at some point. It wasn't an actual number. I can't remember the exact way to explain it, but essentially, it was like a funnel. You don't actually get a number. It's not a take a number thing. It's just you're being funneled through, and you're going to get in when you get in. So, adding to that with all the people hammering it, yeah, it's not a good time. I'm
And
glad I
then
got mine.
what's even more interesting, I don't know if it's interesting or not, but it's interesting to me. So Xbox tweeted out 2 days ago and said that we're humbled. Thanks for the excitement. If you weren't successful today, be sure to sign up with retailers for updates and expect more consoles to be available on November 10th. So to me, it sounds like there's no more Xbox pre-orders, and I don't know if that's because they literally sold everything they had at once and just got it out of the way. Because I just got this afternoon my invitation from PlayStation to pre-order, so they have pre-orders that are coming back up now. This invitation that I got doesn't say that it's available on launch day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm gonna try and help somebody else get a PS5 because I got
Nice.
my pre-order from Walmart. So we'll see what happens. But to me, that says that Sony might have a little bit more PS5 stock than Microsoft does. Now, in the long run, this doesn't matter. If you're one of those people who likely waits anyway, next year you'll probably be fine getting it. I think Xbox, especially after like buying Bethesda, is like in a super good position to have a great generation. But for those people who are like, I'm just going to get whichever one I can get. And we have a friend like that pre-ordered the Xbox because he's not very sure about his PlayStation pre-order. If you're saying like, hey, I'm just going to get one, I don't know which one it is, it's whichever one I can get a hand on, you still probably have a chance at getting a PS5 pre-order. Now, you still could show up at the store on November 10th and 12th, and maybe you can. But crazy. I know we knew it was going to happen either way, but it's just crazy. Like, it wasn't as fast as the 3080 sellouts, but like the fact that basically I think in 2 hours Xbox was pretty much gone except for Best Buy, because Best Buy got slaughtered. That website was gone. You couldn't do anything on Best Buy, and then I don't know if you had the same problem I did with Target, where you added it to cart and then it said you can't add it to cart again, and then whenever you went to your cart, it was blank.
Yep. I also had mine where, because I had one and I was like, I was trying to get the all access, and I had I found a regular one in stock, Xbox Series X in stock at Target. I popped it into the cart and I was like, I may be able to get one from Target. And that's when you were like, I just got mine. I paid outright. I was about to do that anyways. That was very brief, and it was out of the cart like when I tried to proceed to check out. Everyone was trying to grab them, and I know it's supply and demand, but this is more than supply and demand. You have not only scalpers, but you have the COVID limitation of supply in regards to production. We know the PlayStation has not producing as many units as they expected to produce. I'm assuming Xbox is around that. I'm honestly wondering how many units Microsoft has produced. I don't know if have you seen that number?
No, I think the estimates for both of them we're somewhere between like 5 and 10 million in the first like year or fiscal year. Like, I think we read out before that we expect like 8 million PS5s by March. So who knows? I can't wait to see the numbers, honestly. When follow Matt Piscatella or at Benji Sales on Twitter if you're interested in sales numbers type stuff. because I just want to know like what the launch day is like. Like I
Mm-hmm.
want to see, is it 1 million units? Is it 2 million units? Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking like at least a million for both on launch day.
I think so. And added to the, like, as we mentioned with Microsoft buying Bethesda, you now have even more value in Game Pass in Bethesda, and I did like that Phil Spencer and others have said we're going to honor all of our contracts and agreements with any games that have already been announced. I don't know if that includes Starfield and Elder Scrolls. That
I don't think
may.
they have that.
So, well, I mean, what do you mean they don't have that?
I don't think they've ever said that Starfield's going to be on PS5 or anything like that.
I know that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they've specified what consoles they're going to be on, because if they didn't say Starfield will be on PS5 and Xbox, and if they didn't say Elder Scrolls will be on PS5, then we may have a situation where these two games end up being Game Pass, Xbox exclusives. You can get them on Game Pass day one, and how freaking amazing is that from a value standpoint? If you can play arguably the best Western RPGs, and I'd say objectively the best shooters in the past decade has been Doom and the Wolfenstein games. I absolutely love the Wolfenstein games as well. Talk about value. I mean, man.
Yeah, if I was a betting man,
Mm-hmm.
which I am in some cases, but I would say that for the big franchises,
Yeah.
timed exclusive. I don't see Microsoft, since Phil has said that he doesn't believe the future is hardware, like even though
Yeah.
they do make hardware, they make a lot of software. We're talking about Microsoft. We're talking about Windows. We're talking about Office. We're talking like
Yeah.
they sell software, and they don't keep Office off of Macs, for example. Like
Yeah.
you can play uh, you can play. I don't know where I was going with that, but what I mean to say is I just don't think that they would hold off big franchises like Fallout. Like I think that you can see in the future definitely maybe smaller titles where like, hey, this is a Xbox One console exclusive and PC, but I would just be like absolutely shocked if they were like Elder Scrolls 6 is never coming to PlayStation. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would leave. Let's just estimate how many PS5s by the time Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. So 2030. I'm just kidding. Let's just say there's like 50 million PS5s out there.
Yeah.
I just don't see why they would do that. They don't have as much reason to do it as Sony does. Like Sony is a much smaller company.
Sure.
I was thinking about like who could they throw down $7.5 billion, and like they bought Insomniac for like 200 million.
Yeah.
And so just the big difference is I don't think that Sony's ever going to be able to compete in that way. So they do fight for those exclusives. They did get Final Fantasy 16, and I read an article this morning that they were actually trying to get Starfield exclusivity on PS5, and obviously that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Well, one of the things that there was a quasi rumor / just people talking, or people like wishing. Some people saying that they want them to buy out Konami.
Just buy the IP.
Yeah, I was going to say buy the IP. For Metal Gear and a few others, and you'll be fine.
What if they bought From, dude?
I was going to say Capcom, but From would be great. From would be fantastic. I mean, embedding even deeper into the Japanese like culture for when it comes to Sony and their titles, I think it'd be a really good buy, and it wouldn't cost near as much.
The only thing that I thought about whenever I thought about From is just that, unlike Konami IP, like it would just be that's another third-person action game.
Yeah,
and like not to down like the complexity of like Bloodborne and all that stuff. I know it's an RPG, but like it's a third-person action game.
It is. And I've actually been playing a third-person action game lately. So yeah, they are. What do you mean, Dark Souls?
Quasi open world.
Quasi open world. So Yeah, they're basically open world, but the avenue that you get to different areas can be in kind of a classic game design way of like keeping you out of certain areas. Um, but it's basically open world. I was just saying I've been playing an open world game this past weekend. I picked it up a couple weeks ago. Shadow of War was on sale on PlayStation, and I was like, I have been wanting to play that. I played Shadow of Mordor. I did not play Shadow of War, and it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. More Shadow of Mordor, but more like even bigger battles. So it's pretty cool.
You want to know something funny?
What's that?
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I was gonna say I bet it's on Game Pass. That's what I was about to say. Is I bet it's on Game Pass.
Which
picked it up
by
a
the
couple
way,
weeks
just
ago.
speaking of that, I'm passing this along to people on the podcast and anybody else who listens. Both PS Plus and Game Pass Ultimate on sale on CD Keys. And if you're questioning CD Keys is a legitimate website. I don't know how they get their sales, but they are not G2A, so don't be worried.
Yeah.
I picked up a year of Game Pass Ultimate yesterday. So I'm good to go for a while, and then I have now PS Plus until 2023. So.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm good until I think it's halfway through 2022, and we'll continue to do that. If getting those sales continues to, it feeds our habit in a more what's the term? What's the term? I was gonna say mature. It's a more frugal way to go about this habit because you can spend a ton of money on video games, especially if you were going to go with something which I'll segue into our next bit of news. If you were going to go with something like Stadia, where you're buying games pretty much full on price, Stadia is good, but the price model just doesn't really work well, which I think is why Stadia has not been doing well. And today, Amazon announced Luna, which is their online cloud gaming service where you just need a controller. And they said
Can be any Bluetooth controller.
Yep. And this will work with your PC. They didn't say Chrome because I'm assuming it'll use any type of browser.
And
Amazon.
Mac.
Yeah, and Mac. Yep. So Mac and your Apple TVs, and you'll be able to play. No, it's not Apple TV. I thought it was Apple TV.
Amazon
Fire. Yeah, Amazon Fire, Amazon Sticks. Sorry. So being the same idea of being able to play anywhere without having to worry about a console or having to worry about a PC with a subscription plan to go to certain channels.
That's the way, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. So I could subscribe similar to like HBO or something like that. You go in and you say, I'm gonna play some Ubisoft this month. Click, and I
$5.99.
$5.99, or they haven't announced the it's $5.99 for the base level, and then you add on different publishers or different distributors. However, they're going to add it. Currently, I think they have 2 channels that they're going with. They're going to add more. So essentially, you can add it similar to adding channels to your Amazon Prime, where you can add Showtime and HBO and what have you. You could say, play some Ubisoft for a little bit, pop it on, and go, you know what, I'm done with that. I'll cancel or I'll remove it so that I won't renew. Everything's about the subscriptions, and this is a really, really good deal, especially if you don't have hardware, if you don't want to invest in hardware, but you want to pop into some of this new gaming. Totally worth it.
There's a couple things that I want to know. First of all, though, this is the way to do it.
Watch your video, by the way.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
Fun. Oh yeah, your video froze for me too. Anyways, well, as long as you can hear me,
I can.
This is the way to do it. This is the way Stadia should have done it in terms of subscription models for a set amount of games. I want to know, do you get anything for Prime? Because they already do a lot of free games with Twitch. Since they own Twitch, and you get tons of free games like every month, a bunch of smaller stuff. So I wonder if they're going to somehow have any really cheap add-ons with Prime, or just give you like, hey, you can play like 1 game a month or something with Prime. Like that would be sweet.
Really cool.
I also want to know like how the channels are going to work. Like I know if you do an Ubisoft channel, that's cool, but think about like a genre channel. you know,
I want to play some
where
shooters. I want to play some RPG.
yeah,
Maybe that's your bag. Is you just want to you don't play anything but sports games. Like just go in for the NHL games or what have you.
yeah,
That would be cool.
I think that if they keep every channel around the introductory price, which is $5.99 a month, I think if every channel was somewhere around under $10, like that's
Mhm.
just so easy in terms of like if they, especially if they get a game and say you're not on Game Pass or something, but just say like they get a specific game and you're like, I want to play that. I'll play that in under a month. I'll go pay my $5. I'll go immediately unsub and then I'll just enjoy a month of that channel. Like that's the kind of thing that I want
Yep.
as opposed to Stadia. I don't, if you're going to do an all streaming service, let's do an all streaming service, baby.
That's really, I know, I completely agree. And that was what I was hoping Stadia would be when they announced Stadia. I thought that I was really hoping that that's what it was going to be. And then I could have what we keep calling like the Netflix of gaming, right? And I've been referring to Game Pass as the Netflix of gaming because I'm paying $10 a month,
100%.
or even less if you get it on CD keys or somewhere else like that. So you're paying less than $10 a month in some cases to play any of these games. Meaning, if you play a good amount, if you game a lot, and let's say you beat a game every month, if you're buying new games, that's $60, 1/6 the price, and you have access to all these different games. You can just taste them, you can dive deep, whatever you want to do. It's great, and I think this is a great addition to that. I've seen some people like belittle it, saying like, "Who is this for?" Essentially, like if you wanted to do this, why just get a console or buy a gaming PC or whatever. I'm like, that's a lot of money for someone to drop, like especially with the new consoles coming out. If the same person can buy the controller for what, $60, and then pay a subscription plan, that makes considerably more sense to not have to just be able to jump in and play games and not have to worry about it. And you don't have to find a place for your giant video game console in your entertainment center.
Yeah, I bought a new entertainment.
It's funny. We both bought a new entertainment centers. By the way, Hangouts crashed. I'm trying to access it, and Hangouts literally won't. That's why your video went out.
Cool.
We do video and audio on separate applications. But anyways, yeah, Owen bought a new entertainment center because I told him I was buying a new entertainment center, and we have this kind of thing going on where like we put ideas in each other's heads, in not a negative way. We're not trying to keep up with each other or anything, but um, my wife wanted to buy a smaller entertainment center to make our room kind of look a little bigger because we have this giant entertainment center. So we got a smaller entertainment center in preparation for the giant video game consoles, which of course is counterintuitive, but it's going to work better for storage. Now I just need to figure out a place to put my video game, my physical copies, because I don't have a way to store them right now. They're going to go in here. They're going to go in the office. I mean,
yeah, and then I'm pretty much done
with physical.
I think I did go ahead and buy Miles Morales Ultimate on physical just for the thing of like I ordered my PS5, it's gonna get here. I'm gonna open up my PS5, I'm gonna set it up. I'm going to get out my new PS5 headphones because even though I said I wouldn't buy them, I still did. I'm going to get out my...
How did you buy those, by the way? Did you go direct, you said?
Yeah, because if you're a PS Plus user, you get... they said that it would be delivered on launch day for free shipping. So you just sign in with your PSN account. And so I should get... We'll see what happens, Sony. I should get Miles Morales Ultimate and my new headphones on launch day, along with my PlayStation, hopefully from Walmart on launch day.
Gotcha.
So I wanted to open one game and put it in this slot, and then after that, I will probably be done. Plus, I really wanted to get the remastered Spider-Man because that looks cool. I don't know why they're not selling it separately, but whatever.
It's weird. It's weird for people who already have played So if you already played it, you have to pay to have if you already have the regular edition for Spider-Man PlayStation 4, I think you have to buy the Miles one and then buy an upgrade. Um, if you choose not to buy the Miles one outright, and it doesn't make any sense, honestly. I mean,
You literally can't buy it without buying Miles
yeah. So,
right now.
and
Anyway, I expect
which
that to change at some point.
I think it will at some point. I think they want people to play the new Miles Morales game. They want them
Oh,
to
sure.
play that because it's really going to show more of what the console does. Where the other is, it's a really nice upgrade for you, but it's not going to have the same hotness as the Miles Morales section, if you will. Um, I've seen a couple people who were upset or confused about that. I'm just going to buy it. Basically, you just buy the Miles. It was the Ultimate Edition, I think is.
That's what I did. Yeah,
Yeah,
I went ahead and did the ultimate. The regular one's $50, and the one was the full price 70 to get the other one.
yeah,
Again, I have no reason for buying it physically except that I was like, I want to do it once. And then the next game that I can see myself buying physically is either Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 or Final Fantasy 16,
something with like a steel book. That
or
kind of thing.
Legend of Zelda, whatever that is on Switch. But for the most part, I just don't want to keep up with it anymore, man. These Switch carts are small. The discs
Yep.
scratch. I have like I he's probably officially a toddler now. He toddles around. I
Is that
fear
how you define that? I was going to ask, like,
that's
what
how
is
I
it?
defined it as toddling.
Yeah.
Is he goes from he's like an infant to I don't even know what the in between ones are, but he toddles now. So
Yeah. 12,
uh,
12 to 36 months is a
there
toddler.
you go.
There you go.
So
He's a toddler.
uh, I don't think that I'm already going to have a hard enough time keeping him away
Sure.
from like the consoles
Oh,
themselves,
yeah.
which are thankfully a little bit more durable. I don't know. There's just everything is space. Like I don't like
Yeah.
clutter. I have too many games already. I am gonna go as digital as I can, and I'm just like I mentioned in the last show. I think I'm gonna start investing in some USB hard drives. I'm still waiting to see if PS5 takes USB C,
Mhm.
and just start downloading games. It'll be one of those projects where it's just, hey, am I bored at 11 o'clock at night? Let's download some games onto this hard
Yeah.
drive.
Yep, and I haven't tested it yet in regards to like offloading them off of the formatted hard drive onto like a NAS server, which is something I was considering doing as an extra step. But USB hard drives are getting cheaper, so getting downloading the game, or I should say, even just downloading it onto your to your console and then transferring. I don't know. You can download can you direct it to go to your USB hard drive, or does it just download? I haven't
I've
tried
never
that.
actually tried, and so it'll be a new experience. But I've just been looking to see like I can get a 1 terabyte USB C drive right now for $50, and so if PS5 takes USB C, I'll probably just every so often I'll buy a new drive and I'll
Yeah,
download games until it fills up, and I'll put a little, I don't know, I'll tape like a 3x5 card or something to it with the games that are on it.
you could
And
put like like not even a 3x5 card, but you could just like have a piece of paper that says like A or B or C or whatever, and then
sure.
use a Google sheet that says, okay, this tab, here's all the games that are in it. Here's the next tab, here's all the games that are in
Oh,
it.
that's true.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets. My wife likes
Spreadsheets, man,
spreadsheets. We can do
spreadsheets.
that.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun project. I'll probably do the same because I want to be able to. I'm all
You
about.
got to test that raid, man.
I need to test that rate, but I'm all about like if they take away my access to the server, I still want to be able to play games, which is why I got all these. Which is why I purchased a handful of games and downloaded them on Wii U. But yeah, I want to be able to download them onto hard drives. So if the store shuts down, I've got it ready to go. Yeah, it's future proofing that it may be something that doesn't happen for a long time. But when I'm retired, I want to be able to play whatever freaking game I want to play.
What'll be interesting is if how the validation works years from now. More for me, more
Yeah.
it's just I want them to be there
Sure.
and to be able to transfer back and forth. I don't know if it's faster than downloading, but you can do that without having too much stress on your internet.
Sure.
It is. I don't know. Who knows what I do? I could just keep not caring and just be like, whenever you want to shut down PlayStation, let's go. Like they're still. I think PS3 games are still live. Vita games are still live. Like
Yep.
I think we've crossed a threshold. Unless your name is Nintendo, where you want to shut down, the Wii store for some weird reason, even though you're still selling Just Dance on it.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't see why. I don't see the incentive for Xbox and Sony to do it. I think backwards compatibility is here to stay. Xbox did better at that than Sony, but Sony's at least doing PS4, and I don't think that they're going to just drop PS4 when PS6 comes out, if
Yeah.
it comes out.
Yeah, I agree. You're probably right on that. And I had an interesting thought earlier today, which was the Xbox 360, and we'll talk. We're going to talk about console generations and stuff in another show. We want to talk about like the previous generation and kind of how we feel about that transition and this transition. But I had an interesting thought earlier today, which was Xbox. So Xbox OG, right? Original
Mm-hmm.
Xbox versus PlayStation 2. Obviously, PlayStation 2 was winning. PlayStation 3 came out and Xbox 360, and there was a shift for them that Xbox overtook PlayStation in regards to sales, especially at the onset, because the PlayStation was so expensive. Sony made so essentially we have these two companies trading off making mistakes. So PS3 didn't do as well as the Xbox 360, and then you have the PS4 doing better than the Xbox One. Now I'm not. I mean, it's way too early to say so, but we may have Xbox outsell PlayStation this next generation,
In the
and then
US.
Sony having a rebuilding generation for them. It's interesting how the two of them are feeding off of each other's mistakes and each other's successes to better gaming as a whole. But I think it's funny they just keep trading off. And Nintendo was kind of floundering until the Switch came out. Let's be honest.
I I want them to keep feeding off each other there
Yeah,
because there's you know, we were riding high on PlayStation 5 and I still am. I'm not all of a sudden down on the PS5. I'm just not riding as high on it as I was a week
sure.
ago even. It's changed that much that quickly. Um I th- I think that because PS4 was so successful, Xbox said, "All right, let's do something different."
Yeah.
And they went completely consumer friendly. I want to know how long this pricing for Game Pass can last because that Game Pass from I don't they don't release the numbers, but there's no way
Yeah.
that it could be profitable yet, especially now that they went $7.5 billion on ZeniMax. I want to know when that price goes up. But either way, even if the price went up to $15 and Ultimate went up to 20, I still think the value is probably there if you are a consistent like gamer. Um, but now I'm looking at PlayStation. I'm like, what are you gonna do with now? Like now needs to be better.
It really
It,
does. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had they were kind of like Game Pass was better than PlayStation Now, and like you kind of scrutinize it. Now it's like, okay,
way
Game
better.
Pass is way better. Sony, what you doing? You're not doing anything with VR. I mean, we've heard nothing about the next generation of VR. What is Sony doing other than we got some really good exclusive games? Which, by the way, this is coming from two guys who've been talking Sony like the whole year and
Yeah,
touting the amazing PS5, and Xbox has just got so much value to it and so many great things coming to it that other than those exclusive games that we both had to buy PlayStation 5s for, Xbox has got some amazing value and amazing market shares. Yeah,
and the thing that I've been reading this week from like my gaming friends, like I know that the majority of people don't care. So I recognize that the majority of people don't follow this stuff
sure.
like I do. But from all the gaming people, the conversation all week was, I get all this stuff now. I get Bethesda. I get all that for either $10 or $15 a month, and I have to go to my PS5 and I have to pay $70 a video game. Demon Souls is $70 at launch.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that price. We've been saying the price is going to go up. I think
I've
that
been waiting.
$70 is
Yeah,
fine. I think it sucks, but it's fine because it's still cheaper than a game in the 90s. It's still cheaper than Link to the Past was at launch, believe it or not. I but you're
to
looking
the
at it and you're
like the
and you're like,
inflation. You mean?
yeah, with
Yeah,
inflation it's cheaper. But the cost of wages have not risen enough to meet that, and that's why it stinks. Anyways,
exactly.
the I get Game Pass Ultimate, which I just bought 3 months, or I bought a year, but I bought 3 months cards for $24. So that's $24 for 3 months. With that, I have access to around 400 games, I think, between PC and Xbox Series X whenever I get it in November. And then every time that I want a new PS5 game that is AAA, that's $70.
Yep.
And I could play literally 300 games
Yeah.
for, what is 15 out of 70? It's, what is that, like a fifth, a sixth, something like that, with me not being able to do math off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Just they need to they
It's
need to
just
react with
under a
now.
fifth.
Now
Yeah.
needs to get in there.
Yeah.
I need to see some dollar subscriptions
Yep.
to my PS Plus
Yeah.
to add
No,
PS Now.
I completely agree. That's what Sony needs to do. Sony needs to say, okay, PlayStation, PlayStation Now, improve it, and then add your first party, or
Yep.
add something like that, because then we're gonna sub to that as well, and then we'll just let it ride at that point. At the same time, me knowing me who I am, I'm going to buy those games like Demon Souls. If it's an Xbox game, if it's a Xbox game that like I absolutely love, and I'm playing it on Game Pass, I'm gonna buy it to have it in my collection. But for now, like similar to what with Netflix, like I can just watch and play whatever I want, and if it's something I absolutely love, I can add it to my collection, or I can just not.
And
And
they
they
need to
don't.
do what Game Pass did, where Game Pass, you get a discount on the game.
Yes. Yes, because like I know you don't replay games usually. There's a
No.
few games that you'll replay. I like to go replay certain games. I get a little nostalgia feeling, and I'll go
Sure.
back and play a game that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to want that discount. For you, Game Pass could settle you. I mean, you could ride, not that you're going to, but you could probably go for like 2 years just playing Game Pass games and be loving it and absolutely loving it. Especially when you look at that sticker and say, "Wait a minute, I'm going to pay $70 for this new game." Do
Yeah.
I want to pay $70 for that new game? This is a
No.
better value proposition for people. I'm going to pay $70 for Demon Souls. I'm going to pay $70 for a few games,
Yeah.
but there's
I'm
so
gonna
many
buy
games.
Ratchet. I'm gonna,
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy Final Fantasy 16. Is like there's games that are going to happen, and like you mentioned, there could be something Xbox that comes along. The next Gears maybe might come
yeah,
along, and I'll be all about it at that point. Or maybe Obsidian comes out with Fallout New Vegas 2 or something like that. And, even though I'm not a big Fallout guy, I'm just thinking of examples of like games where it's like I could see myself being like, yes, I want to pay you for this game simply out of appreciation. We talk about that all the time. I like
hmm
to respect developers. I don't buy used games. I'm not disrespecting anybody who does buy used games, by the way. I understand that thing, but I can afford to pay a dev for a game. So I will do that. In the case of Game Pass, though, Microsoft has paid those devs, and there will probably come along a game or two, though, that I play through. I put my time into it, even if I'm never ever going to play it again. And it's like, oh, I get a 20% discount on this game. I loved it. It's I absolutely love my time with it. Here you go. Here's your money.
yep,
Like,
yep.
thanks for the experience.
Yeah, totally worth it. By the way, well, and not that I was ignoring you in any way, but because you were talking about buying that Pulse 3D wireless headset, I'm like, I didn't pre-order it yet. You mentioned it. I'm like, yeah, I should probably do that. It's sold out everywhere that I've seen so far. The first two sites that I've seen, at least, Best Buy has gone to their classic coming soon, even though they previously had it up for up to be pre-ordered. So
Really?
there's yeah. So it's out. It's sold out on Sony. It is coming soon on PlayStation on
I can
Best
I
Buy.
can add it to cart, right? Oh no, it's a controller.
Yeah, it was
Oh
a,
yeah. Oh, the
yep,
Pulse 3D. Oh, you
yep.
waited too
I
long,
waited
bud.
too long. I waited too long. So
It'll be back in stock on launch day, I
it'll
guarantee
be
it.
back in stock on launch day, and I don't need it. I
Robert
really,
might
really,
have one
really,
if you
really
need it.
want it. Okay.
Is what he literally just said in the chat.
Okay, well, I may hit you up. I don't necessarily need it. I'm taking a couple days off
He
around that
wants
time.
it.
I do want it.
I
That's
want it
different
up.
though.
It's this.
I do. I do. I'm taking the day off. I'm hoping that I'll be able to pick up my PlayStation 5 from Walmart close to either early morning or midnight. I don't know exactly how they're doing there. I'm probably going to talk to them next week. Talk to the store manager in the electronics area because just because to be like, hey, are you having an event? If you're not having an event, that's cool. But to specifically like be like, if I pre-ordered it and it's here, do you have like a window for me? He may be like, I don't know, but
One thing I noticed
yeah,
that totally random. Just speaking of pre-orders, but did you see the Shock Blue controller for Series X?
no, I didn't.
That thing looks super dope. I don't know. I understand that Sony is like, we want you to get our clean white controllers with our clean white console, but like, why why not offer like I don't know, 3 or 4 colors
Yeah, because
of that dual
Xbox did
sense.
that. Yeah, Xbox did that in with their I forgot the name of it, but their lab, their controller lab or whatever it was called.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, buddy.
yeah, so you can customize your controller. They haven't done that obviously with Xbox One X yet, but man, Series X. See, I missed it again. This looks really nice though, and
Did you look it up?
yeah, I did. I did.
That thing is sexy.
I am debating, and I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I have been debating: do I get a second controller for the PlayStation? Do I? I don't know if I need one for the Xbox, but mm, specifically
You
because
have one X controllers, so those will work.
that's true. That's true. So I don't. So there's my answer on that. But for the PlayStation, I want to play the Sackboy, the Little Big Planet Sackboy Adventure game. Multiplayer on that looks really fun. I need a second controller for it. But does the PS4 one does not work even plugged in, right?
Only on PS4 games.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
Big sigh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that sucks. So I may end up getting an extra controller for my PlayStation 5 if that happens. But man, yeah, that looks slick. Hold on. What am I doing? What am I doing? I've got technology here. I can show that on screen for everybody. Oh, really? We're gonna do it that way? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, and then while he's doing that, somebody did mention in the chat, like it is super crazy that the amount of sales that are going, like we're talking about pandemic, we're talking about a thing where the economy hasn't been the best, but video games, baby, they live on. And yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the 3090 also sold out just like the 3080. Like that was ridiculous.
A $1,500.
It took 1 minute for the 3080 to sell out, and Alex in the chat is saying as well 1 minute for the 3090.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Okay, for a $1,500 card, and it sold out that quick. I was talking to Whitney about it because I was telling her I'm considering building a new PC for Christmas. I may still do it at or after Christmas. May piece out the deals and then put it together after Christmas.
Sure.
But I was telling her, I was like, yeah, the new cards got announced, and I was waiting for her to like, to freak out. I was like, what do you think about this card? And I showed her the 3090, and I'm like, it's only 1,500. She's like, she's like, are you gonna get it? Like, I was waiting for her to flip out, but she's like, okay, but are you gonna get it? I'm like, no.
No, I'm gonna get a 30. I'm gonna get a 3080. Like
a 3080. She was in the mood where she was just like, it was kind of very very treat yourself kind of mood.
It's the shopping mood, man.
It's the shopping because we're redoing the patio, we're doing some other things, and she's budgeted out some things that she's gotten recently. For those of you who don't know, my wife's a professional mermaid, which we've not been able to do a lot of events because of COVID and everything.
Sure.
But the tails aren't cheap. Some of the stuff we've done there isn't cheap. So she's like, maybe treat yourself. I'm like, I'm not going to treat myself like that because the whole PC may be $1,500, but not one part. That's not going to happen. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed us talking about Xbox and video games all week. Apologies for video crapping out on us halfway through, but
Blame Google.
Yeah, blame Google on that. Hopefully, we'll be switching over soon.
It's probably on Stadia servers. I'm just kidding. Stadia runs great.
Yeah. So we'll see. We're about to switch over to a different video provider at some point. Maybe we'll do that sooner rather than later. Maybe there will be an interim step. But apologies for that. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Let us know. Did you get a pre-order for the Xbox Series X? I almost said Xbox One X. Did you get an
I know
Xbox
you did.
Series? Did you go for the S? Because that's you know what? We talk about the X a lot, but the S is an amazing deal. Did you get one of those?
We didn't even mention that, how both the Series S and the PS5 digital, they made less of those. And I think the demand at least, I know for the digital PS5 it's higher, but for the S, the demand's pretty high there, and there's not a lot of those.
Yeah, which is surprising because I had heard that GameStop and some others, at least the retail stores, said they were getting more of the digital than they were getting of the consoles with the disc drive. So I don't know if that's accurate, but either way, man, it's a good time.
Is it November yet, Pat?
Almost. Just go sleep.
I'm counting it. How many days do we have? We have a counter somewhere.
We have a countdown. I completely forgot to mention that. Yeah, so it's 47 days for the Xbox, 49 days for the PlayStation. We are getting close. We're less than 2 months away. We finally knew the prices as of like a week ago. So,
of course, our biggest fan, Robert, did manage to get a Series S pre-order.
Nice.
That does not shock me at all.
No. I mean, I wasn't surprised that those sold out so quick. I was surprised how just everything just crapped out. But anyways, let us know in the comments what you think. Did you get one of those? Are you more of a PC gamer? Are you going for a 3080 if you can get one? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.